This is one of my favorite liner images that Pierneef printed. It's called the Tweeling and it is in Stellenbosch, and Pierneef printed this in 1922. I love it. And why I chose it for our box is it looks very complicated and very detailed, but it's actually very easy to print. I'm going to show you the two techniques we need to carve this picture. We're going to use our V tool to carve the clouds and our U tool to carve the mountain. You can see dots as well. These dots is also a very easy technique. Or everything that you see in white, that is what we're going to carve away. The way I like to work when I carve is not to exactly trace every mark of the image onto my liner. So that gives me a lot of freedom still to play. What I like to do is just to give myself a basic outline. One thing that I love about Pierneef's design is the edges that he left. You can see that's something I try to be very mindful of the first time I carved this image, is the black edges on the side, and then the very distinct line between the clouds and the mountains. I also mark out this beautiful black piece that divides the two peaks into two. I think that's quite important. And then I marked out the section where the direction of the mountains changed. Also the trees. I didn't mark specific images for the houses. I left it a bit for freehand, but you obviously mark as much as what you like. Mark as much out for yourself as what makes you comfortable. Let's start with the cloud technique. The clouds, I think we can do this with our V tool. It's the tool with the sharper edge. To make lines this thin with a V tool, just keep it quite shallow. And when we enter, keep your tool at a 45-degree angle and then just try and follow the curve. But as you go along, drop your hand down to be more parallel with the liner. And I'm not so good with the exit, so I just turn it around and go at it from the other way and sort of meet in the middle, and then I have a very neat line. It's really the curvy line of these clouds that gives it this beautiful image. So you can see here on the more thicker edges of the clouds, we will just go in a bit deeper with our tool. And I love a curvy line. I don't think my clouds are going to come out anything like Pierneef's other than the general shape, and I'm quite fine with that. My first thought here is just go slow, enjoy it. When I cut liner, I give myself a lot of time. So I might start on the clouds tonight, and then tomorrow night I'll do a few more clouds. Whenever I have a moment for myself, or actually I need a moment for myself, then I close the door and I leave the kids and the noise outside, and I just do a few cuts. I think that's actually the secret between lino cutting, is not to rush it and just to start shallow and gentle and methodically work away more and more of the lino. I love the way Pierneef carved these mountains. It gives you immediately that rugged feeling of rock, and it does feel quite spontaneous. So this is where we use our U tool. This is the tool with the rounded edge. And I think the best way to create this effect is also just to be spontaneous. The one thing that I try to be mindful of is leaving a black edge. And other than that, I'm just going to create a few spontaneous, beautiful marks that will end up looking like a rugged rock face. And you can see in one motion, with a little bit of a wiggle of your hand, you can create a beautiful thick line that's already starting to look like a mountain face. I also like these little edges that Pierneef created here, so I'm going to try and recreate that by making smaller carvings that join into one bigger one. And that's how easy that is. That's the carving. And with that spontaneous line, you can already see it's starting to look like a rock face. These little dots on the trees, There are a couple of ways people like to do dots. Some people put their tool in and then twist the liner around, circle it around, and you make a circle. In fact, I think on this size liner, my dots are going to come out bigger than Pierneef's dots, and that's fine. For the walls and the little farmstead at the bottom, in my print, I'm going to put less walls and less buildings, because for me, the focal point of this design really is the mountains and the clouds. I'm going to make a very simple house line, a farmstead line, and a wall, and then leave the rest open. What I hope you really get out of this is just the joy of spontaneously cutting, not trying to be too precise or trying to work too perfect, just enjoying every mark and the way it spontaneously turns out to be a beautiful mark. Not everything in a liner can be 100% planned. It's also just working away at it and see where you end up. For me, the actual cutting is the best part of the liner. I think it's almost a better way of meditating, because when I try and meditate, my mind is so busy, I can't get it to stop working and thinking about the 100 things that I still have to do. But when I carve and I can concentrate just on the motion of my hand and the line that I'm trying to create, that's when I really can shut down my very busy mind and just relax and give in to the quiet and a moment with my creative self. I just love it. I hope you also enjoy it.